Our next storyteller is Andrea Moed, and she is somebody who I think that I either met you here, met her here, or it was actually at something at the Mullers. I can't really remember, but I think she's pretty amazing, and just one of these people. Every time you get into a conversation with her, she's so intelligent. And when I put out the post about doing storytelling, she tentatively was like, oh, well, like kind of interested. And she's like, and then the other day she's, I don't have any stories to tell. And I said, I'm pretty sure you do. And she does. She does. So come on up.
Okay. Thank you for going before me, Amy, because this is a mom story. So as a child, I longed to have a stage mother. Kind of a weird thing to want, right? Because a stage mother is one of those like domineering, obsessive, just Gypsy Rose Lee kind of people who cannot rest until their child is on stage. The thing is, though, that at that time, I was obsessed with being on stage. I loved theater. I loved musical theater especially. And I knew from reading all these stories and interviews and fan stuff with all the child's actors that I wanted to be, that you needed someone like that. You needed someone who could be as certain and sure as you were that your destiny was to be up there singing and dancing, and somebody who would make it their job to get you there. And I think that this was so important to me because, like, around the age of 7, 8, 9, musicals were so much more than just entertainment to me. Musicals were a model of the way that life should be. The life that I wanted, like, I wanted my life to be about me, in the same sense that the musical Annie is about Annie. I wanted to belt out my wants and my wishes and my hopes in full anthemic, sun will come out kind of song, and have a whole audience be listening. I wanted to rally all my orphan pals and get really angry at how that mean orphanage lady was treating us, and have an audience go, grrr. And I wanted to get out of the orphanage and hatch a plan to escape and win and spend the rest of my life, in the lap of luxury, and have the audience cheer. And this was my dream, and my mother and father were, not so much buying into this. They did not get this about me. And you can kind of understand why, in the sense that, to be honest, like, at no point in my childhood did I demonstrate any amazing talent for singing or dancing or acting. My talents were of the sort of quieter, less dazzling sort. I wrote poems. I made little pom-pom creatures. And I knew a lot of big words. So that's what I did. And as I grew, I no matter how many school plays I was in, that pretty much remained true, like all the way into adulthood. The thing is that I never really let go of this longing for the dramatic, bold strokes, lead character kind of life. I just kind of came to acknowledge that that kind of life was not gonna happen for me. So the result in my 20s and 30s was kind of a long series of accomplishments that, kind of my friends and family were like, oh, that's very nice. But, by my lights, just kind of didn't matter. I was a reliable and unknown freelance writer and copywriter and journalist. I wrote a whole bunch of articles for various design magazines celebrating the big ideas and the big projects of, you know, these people who were just so much more creative than me. I was the 3rd or 4th or 5th listed author on a number of books. And eventually, I moved out west and started working in tech. And for 10 years, I've had this job whose primary purpose is to inform and advise, you know, the leaders and the makers and the builders and all the people who really create all these wonderful products. So I felt like the opposite of a star. And then I had a child. And as, you know, maybe you can guess, I was extremely resolved, like that what happened to me was not gonna happen to him. And I remember, like, all through my pregnancy, I had this kind of mantra that, like, I would look down at my baby bump and I would sort of whisper to this bump, become who you are. Be exactly who you really are. I mean, yeah, I know, Californian much. But that was how I felt, you know, to coin a phrase, this was a baby that, like, nobody was gonna put this baby in a corner. And then the baby was born and the baby grew and we started to see some of the seeds of his personality. And slowly I began to realize that this child was not one who sought the spotlight. This was a child who, in fact, shunned the spotlight. And this was really not easy for me to take, because, you know, I wanted to be this kind of stage mother. That was what was in me. And I remember this time when we were vacationing as a family in a national park. I think he was in preschool. And we were on this little lake, and we were riding this little kind of historical party boat, and the captain of the boat was in front, and he was giving a tour. And at some point, the boat captain, like, noticed my son, Eli. You know, he noticed this little cute, blonde, you know, mischievous-looking kid, and he calls him out, and he says, "Hey, kid, you want to come up here? You want to drive the boat for a while?" And everybody on the boat turns around and looks at us and looks at Eli. And I was so chuffed. I like kind of was immediately began like nudging Eli. "Oh my gosh, did you hear what he just said? He says that you can go up there and be the boat captain. Doesn't that sound awesome? Come on, go up there. And Eli, sitting next to me, he looks down at his lap and he says, "I don't want to." I was like, what? And I'm trying to hold it together, and I'm trying to, like, not, like, look like I'm putting pressure on him. I'm trying to be the nice, gentle, encouraging mom. And so I try again. I'm like, "Sweetie, it's not scary. We're right here with you. It'll be great. Are you sure that you don't want to go over there and drive the boat? I bet it'll be really fun." And he looked straight at me and he said, "No, Mom, I don't." Right. And, you know, that's Eli. That's the kind of kid he is. It turns out that he just doesn't want to be the center of attention. What he wants to do is help other kids be the center of attention. He likes to help. He likes to kind of get to know them and help them with their projects, and you know, that sort of role, it's much less scary for him, and he does it really well, and his friends just love him for it, and my God, he has a lot of friends. I remember this other time, not long after, Eli and I were hiking in a local park on this kind of rugged, rocky trail. And it was the first time we were on that trail. I was really psyched to be in the park. And I was really psyched to see Eli kind of take it on and, you know, be brave and run ahead of me and climb on some rocks that he'd never climbed on. And, you know, that was going to be so cool to see. But as it turns out, that's not what happened. As I watched him, he was a little scared. And he walked a little ways ahead of me, and he was taking these kind of slow, tentative steps. And then all of a sudden, he turns back and he kind of reaches a hand out to me. And he says, "Mom, could you come on up and walk with me? I want to make sure that you don't fall." And like at that point, I realized that this trait that I had been worrying about all morning, this is beautiful. This is too beautiful for me to deny. And, you know, at this point, you know, maybe some of you here are thinking, oh, and by the way, I hope you also realize that this is a trait that you could come to love and accept in yourself, too. And no. I haven't, and I didn't, and I'm not there yet. But yeah, anyway, I still worry about Eli sometimes. I still have this kind of deep-seated fear that, you know, maybe if he's not stepping into the light enough, like if he's not grabbing the attention that he can have while he can have it, like maybe down into the head in the future, there's something that he'll miss out on about life. And for some of the same reasons, I worry about me and my future. But as all this worrying is going on, you know, I'm trying hard to see us both more clearly. I guess what I'm trying to do is to see the character that doesn't need a stage. That's my story. Thank you. Yes, you make me be brave.